So I have some fabulous news. I've survived night one at the pub of this thing that I'm participating in, which is good. So I'm assuming night two is going to be even more challenging. If I do end up in any actual danger, I'll be sure to blink torture in Morse code, which would kind of fit with the video quality. Honestly, I feel like that's where we're at. But the good news is there's a whole other day of Euros action that I'm going to be able to react to, and this video might actually come out before any more Euros matches are played, which would be beyond any sort of level of productivity we've ever hit before. But today we're talking about Slovakia, Ukraine, Poland, Austria, Netherlands, France. And there's something very prevalent that seems to have taken hold at the Euros all of a sudden. And that is the fact that these big matches that everybody feels like they want to pay attention to just end up being worse than the matches that nobody wants to pay attention to. This has been continuously disappointing. Yesterday was a travel day for me. Obviously, we were flying. I was flying from New York to London, and so I was not able to watch a couple of the games. But I did sit down to watch Netherlands France. And honestly, why? Why did I do that? It was just in terms of excitement, it's just a worse match. I'm working on it. Look, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to commit to saying this yet, but I'm working on building up some sort of theory and like the confidence to express this sort of theory that the actual top level of football, like the top level of soccer, the Pep Guardiola everybody's been railing against, it is actually a bit less entertaining to watch than the level right below it. The Portuguese league equivalent of the international scene where you have Slovakia and Ukraine, and it's just more chaotic. And there's more chances and there's more goals. It's less under control and therefore more entertaining to watch and more somehow emotionally driven because the players don't know each other as well. And that's just a product of all of the best teams playing against each other. Like, it doesn't frustrate me that Van Dijk and Olivier Giroud are dapping each other up and talking about their kids or whatever after the game because those guys have been around each other for a decade, right? They know each other incredibly well. They're always playing each other on the biggest stages, right? So I'm not one of those people that, just gets absolutely fully torqued. Like I'm not Roy Keane over here. Like, oh, you've got to hate him. You've got to hate his guts. You've got to want to just, like I'm not one of those people, right? I understand why, like they know but because you're playing against somebody there just isn't that same sort of animosity that just seems to make it a little more entertaining to watch in these international tournaments as well. But I'll start with Netherlands France because there was one moment in that game that was just incredibly stupid, right? VAR has been, you knew this is where I was going. Don't lie, you knew exactly, this is exactly where I was going. VAR has been great this whole tournament. The semi-automated offside is so much better. And honestly, the key to making these decisions is making them fast. Because as long as you make them fast, it's the same as the way that this has always worked in terms of the speed. You get the decision quickly, you react to the decision quickly, and then you move on with life, even if it's just barely offside or whatever. But for some reason, right, we're looking at this. We're looking at this play where it is a goal, right? And when you watch it from the basic run of play, it is a pretty obvious goal. Xavi Simons just volleys in this kind of rebound. Nobody seems to possibly be offside, right? But there is somebody offside in this play. Now, look. I hate this call. I think it's probably the worst call in the world of football. It is the offside call for somebody getting in the way or like obstructing the goalkeeper. I don't even know why I'm doing this, right? But that's that offside call. Somebody is obstructing the goalkeeper, preventing them from being able to attempt to make the save from an offside position. I mean, you have to, it is a rule that has to be in the game, right? Like it has to be there because if it's not there, then you can just stand in an offside position and just, body the goalkeeper and make it really hard to make these saves. So the rule has to be there. But there also, when there's a rule like that, there has to be a line. How much do they have to influence the goalkeeper in order for it to be called offsides? And if you watch the play, Xavi Simons, that shot's not being saved, right? I don't care if Mike Minan's 8 feet tall, right? And he's got LeBron James sized ups and can just explode to the post in a quarter of a second. He's not saving the shot. But it is offside, right? Like I hate this call because it feels like a very American call where you're making this, it's not a flow of I'm a big flow of the game guy. It's not a flow of the game call, right? If you saw the play, it's basic. I think it was Denzel Dumfries. I don't know why he would have been up there, but it looked like Denzel Dumfries. Like maybe I just assume everybody on the field for the Netherlands is Denzel Dumfries. I have no idea. But he's standing next to Mike Minan basically, and the shot goes to that side. So Minan can't even go that direction because there's just a guy to his left. And so you have to make that call that's offside. My problem with the whole process is that it took like 5 minutes, right? And everybody's making fun of him because I think it was an English crew. I think it was Anthony Taylor. I don't want to get the name wrong and then accidentally slate somebody. But it was this, there was a Premier League crew, right? They took 5 minutes to make this call, right? It's offside. The only reason they took 5 minutes is because it's a painful offside call to make. But if you're a ref, if you're an official in this situation and you don't call that offside, there's literally no explanation for it other than the ball was going in anyways, right? This is offside. It has to be offside. In the rules of the game, it is an offside call, as painful and annoying and awkward as that is, right? It's not the official's job to reduce the amount of painful, annoying, awkward applications of the rule. It's just their job to apply the rule. They could have just made this call in 15 seconds like any other crew in this tournament, and we wouldn't, people wouldn't have thought about it or noticed it as much. Like, if we're being honest with ourselves, if that play had happened and then they called it offside, and then, there was like a 2-second VAR check and he just goes like this and we keep playing, we're not thinking or talking about it as much. Now, if you're a Dutch fan, of course, you'll keep talking about it. Or if you're, I believe you're a Poland fan because this goal really hurts your chances to make the next round, you're going to keep talking about it. Because Poland would have gone into the last game just needing to win over France, and they would have actually had a chance to get to the next round. Now, obviously, that's not easy, but it's even more complicated now for Poland to try and get out of the group stage because Poland lost to Austria, which is the second match here. I feel really bad for Poland. Poland has got a pretty good national team. Lewandowski just wasn't fit for this tournament. He actually came in when this match was 1-1, and it was a very fun match early on, chances going both ways, big chances going both ways, which is very exciting. Lewandowski comes into the second half, and Austria scores twice, and nearly scores 2 more times. Szczęsny is still a good goalkeeper, by the way. Made an unbelievable save after the game was already 3-1. Like, really, really insane save. But Austria, under Ralf Rangnick. Look, Ralf turned down the Bayern Munich job. I and everybody else was surprised by that. He might have been onto something, right? He's got his home nation's national team, and they look pretty good. Arnautovic is 35 years old, but he's got that Xherdan Shaqiri gene where when he throws on that Austria shirt, he's one of the best players in the world. He dummied to the second goal, just a brilliant last-second dummy to Christoph Baumgartner to finish it off. He scores the third goal, right? He's celebrating all over the place. Look, I'm not going to go out there and make some crazy prediction that Austria is going to be able to do something insane, but Austria making it to the quarterfinals the way that Switzerland did at the last Euros doesn't seem out of the question for me at this point. This is a really nice win, and they were definitely the better team by the time you got to the end of it. I mean, look, Poland had a couple of good chances and couldn't get its feet under it, but Austria deserved the win, got the win, and is now really, really set up in a nice position. Because if we look at the table here, we've got Austria on a +1 goal difference. So Austria is going to play the Netherlands. Even if they lose, Austria will be in a third position with very likely not a terrible goal difference. And so that's what I mean by a good position. You can get 3 points and you can get a goal difference that's -1 and above. You're going to make it to the knockouts more. Don't quote me on this, but in my experience of simulating this sort of stuff on Football Manager all the time, you're going to get into the knockouts more than 50% of the time, right? Like, you are in a group that I considered probably the most difficult group. Now, I'll take the probably off. I gotta stand on business. This is the group I consider the most difficult group in the Euros. This is 4 World Cup teams playing in one group at the Euros. That's brutal. In Austria, being able to hang 3 points in that group when a lot of people would have looked at this group and thought of them as the worst team, that's a win, especially when they're able to do it in a deserved way, in a way that when they won that game, I'm watching the way they won and saying Austria could do that to a team that's better than Poland as well. And that brings us to the third game, which is honestly just a heartening result, because early in Slovakia-Ukraine, Slovakia scores, and you're sitting there thinking Ukraine just got smacked by Romania out of nowhere. This is the easiest group in the Euros. Ukraine's definitely supposed to be the second best team, and nobody knows what the hell's going on. And you could feel this deflated energy around Ukraine. And Ukraine's just the team you want to root for. It's a country literally being invaded right now. And so them going down 1-0, as happy as you are for Slovakia turning up at a tournament and being incredibly, surprisingly good, they already beat Belgium in this tournament. You felt terrible for Ukraine, which is why it was awesome to see Shaparenko score early in the second half. Ukraine did make a change at goalkeeper. They went with Anatoly Trubin for this match, and he was fantastic. Really, really good goalkeeping from Anatoly Trubin for Ukraine. And I'm really impressed by the fortitude of the Ukrainian team, right? Because clearly Slovakia is not the easiest team to score against when you're behind. I mean, granted, Ukraine wasn't also playing against Lukaku, but still, there was a rest of a Belgian team that could not score against Slovakia once they'd taken the lead. Ukraine was able to do that. And then that brings us to the second Ukraine goal, which was, I believe the word is sumptuous, absolutely seductive first touch on the goal that Ukraine scored. I mean, seductive, completely and utterly seductive. Yaremchuk produces the magic moment, and this group just got so unbelievably ugly. Belgium and Romania are going to play today, but Ukraine and Slovakia are already on 3 points, and Ukraine has the head-to-head advantage. If Belgium beats Romania, we have the best possible group. Every single team on 3 points going into the final match day. And obviously, Belgium's the favorite against Romania, which means we are likely going to have 3 points for every single team on the final match day. How could you not love that? That is peak international football shithousery. I am so here for it. Ukraine set us up for it. And let's be honest, I'm just happy Ukraine won a game. It would have been really sad if they didn't win a game, and their final match is going to be against Belgium. So this was kind of the time Ukraine had to go. It also means that, based off of the way that that group is setting up, it's very likely that either Belgium or Ukraine is going to miss the knockouts, and those are the two best teams in this group. And so the drama continues to be peak. I'm not used to reaching around, so I guess I just pressed the button. Bye.